So, good afternoon, people. I've been watching, up until a year ago, I'd never watched any other YouTube truckers' videos, but I've been sussing out the competition past a year or so, and everybody introduces themselves, don't they? Hi, my name's Luke, otherwise known as the Boggle-Eyed Twat. So, this video is going to be a driving video. A few people have said to me, why don't you become a driving instructor? And it's like, no. But I was driving down to Carmarthen to get some stuff for the shop, and it dawned on me about the differences between truck driving and car driving. We'll have all seen it, like car drivers who, most of them don't seem to look further than 2 feet from the end of their bonnet. So, I was going to video a trip of myself home, going home, and with a commentary over it. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, it's a lot like police drivers. And once you get into the habit of driving like this with this commentary, it's not something you consciously think. It's just there, like in the corner of your mind. So yes, let's go. So firstly, a little bit of town driving, which is why have you stopped there? Reversing out, driving forward, reversing over the white line. So I'll start the commentary once I get onto the road. So the first little bit will be a little bit of town. Basically, go just quickly, I meant to say this beginning, this is aimed at people who've just passed, or car drivers, to understand how trucks go about their business. Because I know a lot of car drivers follow me and stuff. Such a ridiculous way to describe people, isn't it? Car drivers. I have a lot of washing machine owners follow me. So here we are. So here we go. Coming up to the lights. You'll see lorries do this a lot. Basically, just roll up. Don't speed up to the lights. Have to stop sharply, and then you will have to stop a lot of the time. I'm having to stop now, although it's thing is, only just getting a truck up to speed from standstill uses an insane amount of fuel, fully loaded. So your aim when driving is to keep it moving as much as possible. So, and that means in towns and stuff, driving slower than you otherwise might in a car, because you need to see the how things are panning out in front of you. So now this is a good indication of how far forward I'm looking. Looking past the roundabout and the vehicles coming down, how busy they are. Quite a few turn right, but most go straight on there. Again, here we go, slowing down, right down for the lights. Means you have to stop. There we go, back on the barrier. And again, with the roundabout, just ease off a little bit. Nothing's going off we go. I'm in my van, but I guess it's just the same as if I was in a truck. The fact is, I don't like driving like a truck nowadays anyway. I'm a bit of an old doer. So yeah, driving down left-hand lane, right-hand lane's quite busy. Always be ready for somebody to change lane to the last second when it's lanes going in different directions, because people do that. Use the retarder or the engine brake as much as possible now, and not as much as possible, not the foot brakes. Like that would be a good. Just gently ease up to the line. A lot of people who hate automatics and stuff. I love automatics, and often you can have just as much control as a manual. So I won't be talking about gear changes and stuff. Because another thing, like I've met drivers who hate automatics so much, and they drive it all the time in manual, so they have to change gear. And that is such a ridiculously pointless thing to do, and actually not great, because the truck automatic nowadays is designed for fuel. And if you're changing gear manually, thinking you know best, you'll use more fuel basically. So yeah, busy on the right. Go around to the left here and up bounce to the right. There's an entrance to the council here, so that might be somebody coming out of there. The council that built their offices on top of a castle. Oh, there we go. don't see it here, but one thing that's always handy to notice, when you see a speed hump coming up, watch the cars going over it. It gives you an indication of how severe it is and how much you have to slow down. Oh, bus. Inexplicably driving in the middle of the road. So yeah, bearing around to the left here. Always be bus stops are good. Always be aware for people dashing out of bus stops. I did myself a little while ago and I nearly got killed because I was an idiot. So yeah, you'll see the anti-slip stuff here, often put down when vehicles have traction problems in the wet. So yeah, I'm looking as far as that Renault that's just going onto the mini roundabout and gone down the hill. Range Rover turning right, ease off. So yeah, I'm looking at the cars up there. Look, red one pulling up. Like I say, just steady through town, ease back. You'll make much more progress. I worked this out when I was driving coaches in London. By going slower, you'll get places quicker in towns and cities by going slower. I know it sounds ridiculous, counterproductive. Both these are turning left. Oh no, you're turning right. I am. No. Okay, straight on. Yeah, it sounds counterproductive, but it's true. When I was a coach driver in National Express, I went on a defensive driving course, and it was one of the most useful things I've ever done. Basically, it tells you to be forceful without rude, if you know what I mean. But take your position on the road. Tell people what you're doing by doing it. Don't wait for other people to give you space or whatever. Take your space. Yeah, and that's something I learned on that course as well, is keeping moving. Not so important with a car, but with a truck, keeping moving is the ultimate aim. There's no motorway on this for car drivers, because my standard cruising speed now seems to be 45 miles an hour. I've turned into an old woman. It's quite relaxing. But I speed up to 55 on motorways so I don't get in the way of lorries, because it's quite annoying, like all these cars tootling along, making you overtake and stuff. So yeah, bearing around to the right, junction on the left, roundabout up here, we'll be turning left at the roundabout. It's quite quiet at the moment. So that, like I said, this is all I'm saying, roundabout's empty, is this stuff that I subconsciously think. So dog, person, always be aware when there's dogs or children on a pavement for dashing out. 3 dogs, lady with 3 dogs, all 3 lovely dogs too, trotting along, children. This hospital here, so past hospitals and stuff, always be ready for ambulances and stuff. Indicating right, turning right, white BMW pulling up. That's Buddy. This is the hospital I spent several weeks in. The hospital that saved my life was Cardiff. Glangually helped me recover. So yeah, nice and quiet. I'm watching that Polo going down there now, slight decline. There's a roundabout around this corner. Be looking to see how busy that is. Not very. Large industrial thing on the right. Sometimes lorries in and out. With the lorry, one thing that seems to be falling by the wayside, always used to be the case, is with it, help out your fellow lorry drivers as much as you possibly can. There we go. Trying to keep rolling. Nope, done. Yeah, try and help your fellow lorry driver out. It used to be just lorry driving rule 101, but it seems to have fallen away. Another dog. Cars going up. So there's a white car and a black car. Up the hill, round to the left. You'll probably find this video really boring. It's quite heady with this. White's often used in. I've used it in a lorry lot, of course. Load out on the 50 sign, check speed. way. Some building going on the left, let's always be ready for tippers and stuff building. Although it's 4:30, so we won't be seeing any builders at this time. Brakes to drop speed, just come off the accelerator in time. You'll learn how to do that in the end. Because, like, if you come from a car to a truck, you won't really know that. But, like I say, resist using the brakes as much as possible. I can drive from Carmarthen to home, actually, without touching the brakes unless I'm stopping. So yeah, like if you're coming up to lights or junctions or whatever, roundabouts, I've not used the brakes at all in those parts of view. Junctions on the left and the right. Car turning right. Be ready for them to pull across the front of you, as they often do. Bus stop. Always be ready for bus stops, as I said earlier. You never know people milling around. Stinks. Building on the left. As you can see by the tyre tracks, loads of vehicles come and go. God, what a stink! It smells like a cow's anus. So uphill, round to the left. A few vehicles coming down the right. There's a few cars ahead of me up there, still the same, keeping the same distance from them, so we're all going the same speed. Everybody drives like no woman in West Wales. There's round to the left now. There's a straight, but there's also a petrol station on the left, so always be aware of vehicles coming in and out of petrol stations. Often they get distracted looking at a receipt or if they're pulling in water pumps and stuff, so be ready for them to do something stupid. Petrol stations. Junctions on the left and the right here. Juggernaut, hello boy. How are you doing? Welcome to West Wales. Oh, Cambria Petfields. 30 miles an hour. Down to 30 without touching brakes. Price of fuel is absolutely fucking insane. No, that's the other thing about driving this way as well. It's a big fuel saver. Sort of the way my dad drives it. It's how my dad always drives. Dad's a dad's a funny old character. His driving habits are hilarious. He never uses the handbrake, he leaves it in gear. He never indicates. What was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was. Oh no, he uses handbrake. Anyway, going down into the dip. I was 35 miles an hour there. Welcome to Wales for your holidays. Oh, another juggernaut. Tim's. Nice looking truck. A bit further up, we'll get mini narrow spots, and I'll talk about them when we get there. Around the left, we're still in the village here, so we're still in the 30 mile an hour limit. Another lorry, got lots of lorries today. Dog and children on the left, the ultimate combination of risk. Dog and child, which one will die first? Bus stop. Also with houses, always be ready for somebody drive. It's like drive in and they have to reverse out, which is a very dangerous thing to do, reversing out onto a busy road, because the visibility isn't all that. So back up to 40, down the slope into the dip, looking, when you, that little bit there, you can just see the other side, no traffic on the road. By doing that you can see if trucks or buses or starters are coming, but they're not in this case. Because you can see, like if you learn to look ahead, you can see a long way ahead through little tips like that, just through the hedge and stuff. On to Sais! The English bridge. Actually, is that what, I've never thought of that before, but Sais is all, Sais neck is English, Pontus Bridge. Right, we've got select lines, obviously no overtaking. There's a junction down here on the left, be aware, ease off a little bit. Again, these little slopes are perfect places for edging or retarder, edging brakes or retarder. You do not need to touch the brakes on a road like this, in my opinion. Nice big straight here. What I often do is, if there's nothing coming the other way, there is, I just ease off a little bit, and sometimes, depending on the cue, indicate left, let them go. Because do it. It's not a race, it's not about who gets there first. Charles Footman there on the right. Passed away recently, of course. Bears up round to the left. There's a junction on the right and the left here. There's laybys. Be ready to see people coming in and out of laybys. So again, there we go, looking at that corner, you see a white silver car going around the corner up the top there. So that's how far ahead you should be looking, driving a truck, basically. Please roll to the right. I hope my battery lasts, because I've got a low battery, I've got to be cable. So it goes around to the right, down into a little dip and then left again. Roll down the dip, you don't need to power. For little slopes like that, off the power, they roll. On A roads where speed isn't the main factor. And then you'll like be able to come up the other slight incline the other side using minimal fuel. I mean, you just only accelerate up the incline at the point where it's slowing down too much. Round to the left here, there's another straight coming. You see I'm off the power now, just let it roll. You do that as much as possible. You'll see cruise control often does that now. It's a straight. Look all the way down the straight, see what's coming up. Look, see who's behind you, 50 miles an hour. Another truck coming. Cars behind it, so nobody can overtake, unfortunately. Again, like I say, if you've got any cars behind you, just ease off a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yes, sir. Good God, indeed. You're a maniac. Yeah, just ease off a little bit. He was like 3 cars back. It's 30 miles an hour. Might be able to see that thing I said about the tip I said about where the speed humps. You will actually, yeah. Look at the silver car. Look at how much it moves going over the speed hump. And it tells you how severe the speed hump is and how slow you need to go for on it. Because some like this one, you don't really need to go that slow. Depending on your load, of course. And again, it's slowing down. Now Wallace, we're going up a big hill now. With a bend in the middle. So, power. Power! You're going to need all your power for this hill. But again, like I said to you previously, I just leave it in automatic all the time. last foot out of the fuel you put in the tank. And nowadays they are very good at it. You will not do better if you put it in manual. You'll do worse. And as Gary Fast truck now is often saying, well, it can't see the road ahead. Well, you know, they can now. What with the adaptive cruise control and stuff, they use the cameras to gauge traffic ahead, and also modern trucks have a terrain map in there, so they would know this hill was coming and they would deal with it accordingly. Bus over then. Hello. So yeah, there's a junction up on the. There we go. There's a van coming up the junction. Windy corner on the right. Petrol station. Often stuff, and this is a coach company, so you often get vehicles coming in and out, especially coaches. Petrol station as well. It's called Windy Corner after a bend in the TT, I think. Ardeman. So yeah, there's a busy junction on the left here. There used to be a slip road in there, but there isn't anymore. Good day, fellow Volkswagen. So go down into a dip here, like off the power. You don't need a power. You can get up quite good speed, especially if you're fully loaded. So yeah, I'm off the power now. Even in the van, I'm off the power. Look, and it's not slowing down. Basically, you just need to keep moving. Whatever you do, keep moving. Gets a bit narrow down here. Heading out the bend. Lay-by on the left, be ready for lay-bys, people coming in and out. Often when they're distracted. 50 miles an hour, that's fine. Tractor coming. Out to the right. Not touch the brakes yet. Chickens! Good God, indeed. What 3 delightful hens. Now on the power. Bit of a straight here. This car might behind me might try and overtake. I used to remember what I used to do. Windy corner again. When I drove my little Fiat Panda, I used to do such ridiculous things. I was a proper idiot boy racer. Things I used to do. 40 mile an hour, again, don't need brakes, just ease off. We're going down a steep hill now, so this is prime engine brake retarder use. And this might be a point where with the engine brake or retarder you might have to use the truck brakes. Basically the idea with the whole keep moving is every kilometre an hour you take off the speed, you're going to have to put back on again, and that takes fuel. So rush hour. So 30 mile an hour in the distance, off the power, let it slow down of its own accord. Some businesses here, there's this on the right, which is like a forge, but there's also a tractor dealer here, and they can be very busy, and they can have trucks in and out delivering tractors and whatnot, so always worth being aware. Bears around to the right and downhill. So like off the power again. Let it just do its thing, roll down here. On this particular one, if it weren't for the speed up, you could be off the power for a really long time. But it's still off the power all the way down here. So here's the tractor dealer. Grab the door! Speed bump around here. Ambulance. That's not actually an ambulance, but it's always worth keeping an eye on ambulances and what they're going to do. So let the vehicle take off the speed of its own accord. Don't worry about the brakes. Back up to 40. 40. Probably a really boring video, like if you're an experienced driver and stuff and do this naturally. So it bears around to the right, and there's a big dip here with a bridge at the bottom. So I'm looking at the top, the other side, nothing coming, nothing coming, nothing coming. So like this is an instance where it's super important to look far ahead with the truck, because it's the difference between stopping and not stopping, seeing what's coming. Because if something is coming and you need to stop, you want to ease off as early as possible. Bit of a straight and then a sharp left bend in a hill with a sharp right bend. This is a hill that can cause lorries, especially fully loaded ones, a bit of problem, especially in the wet. There's a lay-by at the top. I'm going to pull in and let all the cars behind me go by, because I'm driving so working slowly. So yeah, sharp round to the left. And then sharp round to the right. I've known drivers, like a lot of drivers, come up here for the first time. They might have only been like down around London or Bristol and stuff. And they're like, oh, that road is horrendous. And it's just normal because it's where I grew up, of course. Farm again. Top there, nothing coming around the bend, but there is a bend bearing around to the left, 40 miles an hour. We're doing 40 miles an hour. There's a lay-by up here. I'm going to pull in to let these cars behind me go where possible, and if you've got a big queue, do that. Stressed people making mistakes, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the drivers behind. That's rather nice. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the driver behind. Just let them by, there's no real... beat, so he knew what I was doing. We're not in a race. Some drivers, and I've never understood this, seem to like holding up car drivers as much as possible. It's like, oh, for God's sake. Some drivers seem to approach the job like trying to extract maximum stress out of it, whereas I'm the opposite. I want to make it as easy as possible. So look at those three cars going down there. It's heavy timber on the left, so there's often trucks coming out here, and forklifts, front loaders, around the bend there. A bit of a down climb. Off the power here. It's a very smooth, very short, very shallow slope, but the limit's only 30, and you can easily make 30 off the power all the way down here. Sped up. up to 50. My God, how will I ever cope with such a speed? Yeah, on motorways, like I said to you at the beginning, do 55 if you're a car driver. It's perfectly fine to drive slow. You can see the bent cars slowing down at the top there on the bend, round to the right, straight. That's how far ahead I'm looking. And that's how far ahead all truck drivers will be looking. It's just something that you have to think about when you start, but becomes subconscious in the end. See, it's still rolling. A little bit of power up here, I suppose. Probably, yeah, a little bit of power. Take a drink, a swig of drink. Farm on the left, car down there, going around to the right in a moment. A little bit of power to go on that flat bit there, but now off the power. The speed limit's only 40. So you can easily hit 40. Rolling. This is all down. I need to put a little bit of power on for the van, but you often in a lorry, a fully loaded lorry, you actually can roll most of this section. It's bound round to the right. There's a pub here on the left, so be aware. Prime pub times, like so Sunday afternoons and night time and stuff like that. But always be aware of the pub anyway, because cars coming and going, and people will be distracted because they'll be talking and stuff to their friends, unless they're like me and they dine alone because they are very lonely. On that road. So around to the left, need to put the power on here. Good God, indeed. Good God, indeed. Power here. Can't see much at the moment. Road goes down to the right, left. It's coming the other way. Always look as far ahead, like I said to you previously, to see if there's any trucks coming, because there are many, many, many narrow patches on this road. We'll see some really narrow ones actually coming up. Oh, that bit on the left there with the low hedge, Sainsbury's lorry ended up on its side in a ditch there a little while ago. Poor bloke. So it bears around to the right. It's nice, it's flat here, so you have to be on the power. But just after this bend, you can come off the power again, because the downhill section will let you roll sufficiently. So around here. And you're off the power now. It's a bit narrow, so looking at the hill the other side and the vehicle's coming down, because you need to slow down and let trucks come if they're there before you, because you won't both fit over this bridge. You can just about, but not at like a road cruising speed. Furthest point on the road you can see. That's my general, and that's a lorry driver thing. That's why I'm making this video, because I was thinking like car drivers don't look ahead, because they don't have to. You don't have to with a car, especially a modern car. You don't need to conserve the brakes. You don't need to worry too much about accelerating. With trucks, it's the opposite. You need to look as far ahead as you can. So I'm looking all the way down there now to those speed limit signs at the end. Nothing coming, van coming on. Still 50, I think there's limit signs of 30, so I'll ease off a little bit here. Oh, 40. This is Slanny Butter! The sickest Slanny Butter. So, off the power, let it roll. So coming into town So the middle of Llanny Brothers, fairly busy, as busy as a little village can be. There's quite a few businesses down here, including Gary Reese the Mechanics. But I want to go the other route, so I won't be going past them. So junction's on the right, there's bus stop on the right, and there's bus stops all through the village, so beware, cars coming. Like I say, just keep your line and be forceful. So here we are, the businesses, there's tyre company, and there's a shop and a bus stop. A bus stop that old Brian Thomas that's often parked in, so the bus often has to sit out on the road. So ease off a little bit there, let him go. Good day. So yeah, there's the bus stop on the left. There's also a loading bay for the shop there as well, so there's often trucks there. And often people might cross in front of the truck. So down to the right. Rolling off the power, we're going to dip into the left here and I'll show you Dunbeer Llanybother, this used to be Oriel Jones. Spent a large part of my childhood in this place, in lorries, because Dad was the mechanic here and then the driver, and this is where White's and they're putting in a new beef line, which means they'll be doing beef as well as lamb, so hopefully it'll be busier, hopefully that means more work abroad for Whites, because I will do the odd trip for them. This can be a bitch to get off when you're heavy and it's wet. One of White's trailers fell off on that corner, just about caught it while it was still on the unit. The fifth wheel failed, which is very rare. This is a very, beware here, this where all the staff come and go, but they're always in high vis, which is something. So yeah, this is very busy here, and sort of down further on the left here, it's very busy because it's where the cattle go, the sheep go in. Oh, you see, Anderson, good day indeed. So this bit here between Llanybother and Lamptoo is probably the narrowest bit of this road. So you always have to be looking as far ahead as you can for other lorries. And again, just trundle along steadily. If you go along steady, not only do you get somewhere quicker, you can avoid confrontational situations and stuff. And there's around the left here a little hill. Years ago when I was a bus driver for Davis Brothers, I came round this bend in my little bus, round this bend, and there was a truck sliding down the hill sideways at full speed. And I thought, no, I think this might be the end. But you know what? The little bus was ridiculously solid. Because I always thought those little Mercedes mini buses were awful things. But all it did was break the windscreen. So there's not many, I don't think there's any businesses or anything down here, so there's nothing to worry about. A few farm entrances. So I'm looking where the bus stop is down there at the end, look. There and to the right, and then you come around to the left. This is a very narrow piece through here. So keep over to the left as much as you possibly can, but don't go too far. When I put the lorry in a ditch, that was my mistake. I went too close to the edge and it dragged me in. Like, if when it comes to ditches, especially peat bogs like I was in, if it takes hold of one wheel, you're fucked. It'll drag you in. So lights coming, try and ease off a little bit so you maybe run through the lights on green. Rolling up the lights like this is best because it gives you the lights idea. Just way out. Always be ready for somebody jumping the light there. I haven't done any lights. Just be aware it's a possibility. Okay. So around the left, need a power on through all of this basically. Right at the top there, as far as you can see on the road. See if anything's coming. It's not coming yet. The road widens out a little bit here, but then there's two very narrow sections I'll show you. Here, that can be too narrow for two trucks going side by side, so ease off. I'm looking right up at the top there, that bend. Can't see the whole road because of the hedge, but right up the top, get a good gauge. And the good thing about lorries and buses and stuff is you can see them over the hedge anyway, because they're the ones you want to be looking out for. I can't believe how little traffic is. This is even quiet by our standards. So, going uphill here to the right, and it's a really narrow bit. The bit that's... Many of my mirrors have been lost. It's all narrow, but it gets really narrow. Most of the time you can pass side by side, but you have to be going steady. Like, don't try and go through things on, like, really fast. Here we go, this narrow bit. Want the power until... here, let it roll now, downhill. It's quite a good bit of downhill stretches. Farm mud on road tractors is always a good indication of busyness. So back on the power a little bit now. Quite flat, but even on the flats you can get away with going off the power. I mean, you watch it, if you leave it in auto like I do, it does anyway, like, yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Car coming up the left here, round to the right, junction on the right, cars going into the junction, 50 miles an hour, check by speed. On the right, the trucks can often park going both directions, so it's always worth being aware that trucks can be pulling in and out. Because if you're going fast down that road, being daunted with the lorry pulling out of the junction can be daunting. What roughness, good God indeed. A narrow bridge here, check speed. Even with it, you even have to hold back if there's cars coming here, if you're an arted. And if you're a car driver, truck drivers should help each other out, but if you're a car driver, just be nice to a lorry driver, like, let them through. It's going to add like 5 seconds to your driving and relieve people of stress. So off the power a little bit, let it roll a little bit. Coaches parking, the Windy Corner coaches park where they are for schools, so it's worth being noted. Around school opening and closing time is be aware of coaches and stuff. I use the driver's school bus, red miles an hour, check speed, off the power, and see what a little roll a little bit. So we're coming into Lampeter now. Lampeter upon Stefan. And we'll come up to a T-junction. Nice and wide this bit, no here at the mini roundabouts. This is where I get most of my pictures from, of lorries. So normally there's lots of cars parked down the right here and you can't get past, so people have to open and let you go. And you can let other people go. Dog, beware of the dog. Left into my little drive area. Car turning right, so it's right away. Well, that's it now. We wouldn't get a lorry going down this road anyway, because it's residential. Not to say they don't go residential roads, but not this one. So, here we go. I hope you like that, and it might be constructive in some way. So there we have it. I hope you found that little long video useful or interesting. If you watched it all the way through, like I say, it was basically aimed at people who are just starting, becoming lorry drivers, and also car drivers, to get an idea, because I'm going to try and do more videos for car drivers about trucks, like explaining things that they do, that we do. Yes, I've put on a shirt especially. I've been feeling a bit low for the past few days because, like, money and jobs. And I was scruffy, and so I thought this morning, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to put on some decent clothes, and I'm going to go to town. And I have, and I did, and it was quite good, so that's something. So yeah, let me know what you think, whether you'd like to see more of those sorts of things. I'm going to do some reversing ones, hopefully, when I can drive again. License-wise, people keep, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. That people ask, but you're not going to miss it when I get my license back. You'll get sick to fucking death of it in the end. Oh, look at this. Is nice. You won't be able to see it because it's white, like a DAF lineup look on my Vernal car. So yeah, I make the videos, and it's the same as all the Top Tips videos. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I don't think I'm something special. My driving record points out that I am something special. I'm a fucking disaster. But all I'm telling you, in aiming at new drivers, is the same sort of thing. Anybody that's been in this industry for as long as I have will know. And that's all there is to it. What's funny is, because I support young drivers so much, and I often comment on Facebook pages and stuff about when they have their ridiculous fucking bitch fest about young drivers. Young drivers, hey, won't be able to do that. So I often come back with a comment, and it's like, well, when you've been driving as long as I have, they'll come out with that. It's like amazing, because on Facebook, nobody fucking, just click the person's name and you'll get lots of information about them, because they just seem to assume I'm a young driver. When you've been driving as long as I have, you'll think the same. And it's like, how long have you been driving? 20 years? Oh, so less than me then. Somebody actually did that the other day, and one bloke was like 15 years. So I don't know, like, just click. You'll see that I'm clearly not a young man. What am I doing? Like, this my house is covered in bits of vinyl stuck to everything. So yes, thank you so much for all the sales. First notebooks are on their way. Please do buy a notebook. Where are they? Hang on. Just a quick one. Little clipboard. They're online now. Another clipboard. These have got little conversion things underneath as well. And note paper. And the receipts. Big book with information inside. And they're a reasonable price. So, please, go and buy things. Help ease my money worries. Thank you very much. Good day.